A while ago I made a video on what makes a mystery box story. I outlined 10 things a story needs to do to be a good mystery box. Well, in this series I pick a mystery box story and go down the list, checking out whether or not each one applies. Then at the end I can give it a rating out of 10 to show how good a mystery box it is. This episode I'm reviewing the mystery box of the anime world, Attack on Titan. I really lucked out. I started this series on mystery box stories, and right around the same time, 2 huge high-profile mystery box TV shows came to an end. First, WandaVision, which I made a video on a few weeks ago, and now, Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan is an anime that premiered in 2013, created by Hajime Isayama and based on the manga of the same name. It ran for 4 seasons and just ended earlier this week. It's best known for its insanely good action sequences. But along with that, the show's plot has a strong element of mystery. Despite a super simple premise, the last of humanity trapped in a walled city fighting off giant monsters, the show weaves a complicated narrative of secrets, betrayal, and political intrigue. It's my job to decide how well those mysteries play out. And spoilers. Does Attack on Titan start with a huge and obvious mystery? Not exactly. The first episode introduces us to the story's fantasy world. The last humans on Earth live in a city made of 3 walls. Those walls protect them from the Titans, giant, ugly, unthinking, unfeeling beasts who eat any human they can get their hands on. We meet our main character, Eren Yeager, and his 2 best friends, Mikasa and Armin. They live in the outer wall, and Eren hates the Titans with every fiber of his being. His dad, Grisha, is a scientist of some kind. He's working on some kind of secret project in the Yeager family basement. But we never get to find out what it is, because later that day, 2 new Titans show up and break through the outer wall, the Colossal Titan and the Armored Titan. The people of the outer wall are decimated, and Eren watches his mother get eaten right in front of him. This basement thing is the first mystery to appear in the show. But is it big? Is it obvious? I don't think so. It's hardly the most important thing going on in the opening episodes. I'm sure a lot of viewers totally forgot about it once Titans started eating everyone. The true beginning of the show's mysteries is later. Eren and his friends join the military, and spend the next few years training to kill Titans with omnidirectional mobility gear. In boot camp, they meet a dozen or so new recruits and become close friends with them. There are too many to list off, but I'll mention them as they become relevant. They all join the Scouting Corps, and go to battle to reclaim the territory they lost when the outer wall fell. And here's where the first big twist comes in. During his first battle, Eren learns that he can turn into a Titan. How? Where did this ability come from? This calls into question everything the characters thought they knew about the Titans. If Eren can become a Titan, how many other Titans are really humans? This question deepens as the show goes on, and we get introduced to several other questions. In the first season, a member of Eren's crew, Marco, dies in battle. Well, several other friends die in battle, but Marco dies off screen, and it's implied that there was something fishy about his death. And when the scouts capture a few Titans to experiment on, an unknown soldier sneaks in and kills them. The back half of Season 1 has the scouts fighting the new female Titan. Unlike the other Titans, who are pretty much mindless, she's intelligent, she can strategize. For the life of me, I don't know why they named her the female Titan when tons of other Titans are also female, but whatever. It turns out that the female Titan is Annie, one of Eren's training buddies. They defeat her, but the betrayal has some terrifying implications. Eren isn't the only human who can become a Titan. In Season 2, things really ramp up. There's this weird monkey-looking Titan called the Beast Titan, who can talk, and seems to be the leader of the Titans somehow. Another member of Eren's crew, Ymir, also reveals she's been able to turn into a Titan this whole time, but at least she's still on their side. It's not just her though. One character, Connie, has his entire home village overrun by Titans, but there was no breach in the wall. There's only one possible explanation, that the people of the village turned into Titans. But the biggest twist of the season is that Bertold and Reiner, 2 of the most capable fighters in the show, are actually the Colossal and Armored Titans. And they were the ones who killed Marco. Eren and company try to take them down, but they retreat beyond the walls. We also learn more about the lore of this world, mainly that most of the history that we thought we knew was a fabrication. For the last 100 years, there's been a secret royal family that can magically alter the memories of the population, and who has been running the government from the shadows. They do this with the power of the founding Titan. When a person is injected with Titan spinal fluid, they become a regular mindless Titan. But if they eat a person with Titan powers, they gain those powers and the ability to shift back and forth at will. The royal family has been doing this for years. Their heir is injected with Titan fluid and eats their parent to inherit the power of the founding Titan, all to maintain the status quo. That is, until Aaron's dad interrupted the ceremony and stole the founding Titan's power. This is how Aaron got his powers. He doesn't remember it, but his dad turned Aaron into a Titan and let himself get eaten. It turns out that Krista, another one of Aaron's friends, is the secret heir to the royal family, and her real name is Historia. Her father tries to turn her into a Titan to eat Aaron, but she refuses. She and the scouts defeat her father. As Season 3 opens, the military stages a coup to remove the puppet government and install Historia on the throne. And they make preparations to take on the Beast Titan, and finally get back to unlock the mysterious basement. Throughout the first 3 seasons, there is plenty of mystery to keep the viewers hooked, and they all weave together in really cool ways. I do have to knock it a little for number 4 though. Yeah, the mysteries are known to the audience, but not at first. Attack on Titan is in the same situation that I talked about in the Over the Garden Wall video. It's a fantasy cartoon. When it first introduces Titans, there's no indication that the story will explore their origins. They're framed as just a part of this made-up world, that's just how things are. It's not until halfway through Season 1, when Aaron turns into a Titan, that we have any reason to wonder about their true nature. The show isn't that long, but it's long enough. It's the right length for the story it wants to tell, at least. It's the pacing of reveals, though, where Attack on Titan has its biggest failure as a mystery box. The mysteries keep the audience hooked for the first 3 seasons. Then at the end of Season 3, Aaron finally finds his way back to his dad's basement, finds his research in his journal, and we learn everything that we wanted to know. The people inside the walls aren't the last humans on Earth. Outside the walls, humanity is thriving. Aaron's dad is from outside the walls. So were Annie, Bertold, and Rhina. They, and everyone in the walls, are part of a race of people called the Eldians. Long ago, the Eldians gained the power of the Titans and used it to take over the world. But then they were defeated, and most of them were exiled to the walled city on the island Paradis. Now the dominant world power is a nation called Marley. Any remaining Eldians are kept in internment camps and treated as less than human. All the Titans outside the walls are Eldians that Marley injects with Titan fluid and sends them over to keep Paradis down. Aaron's dad is an Eldian freedom fighter who traveled to Paradis to help release them. And the Beast Titan is Zeke Yeager, his son and Aaron's half-brother. This is a really exciting lore drop right here. It answers all the lingering questions we had. But that's the thing, it answers all the questions that are left, and there's still a whole season to go. As the show moves into its final arc against the nation of Marley, there's no more mystery. That part of the plot is entirely missing from Season 4. Sure, there are twists, but no new questions to wonder about. From this point on, the mystery box is dead. Which of the usual mystery box tropes show up here? First, the secret organization controlling everything from the shadows is the royal family. The character who knows it all and only speaks in hints and riddles, it's not an exact fit, but it has to be Zeke, the Beast Titan. The show has a ton of flashback sequences that make for great non-linear storytelling. And the literal box that needs to be unlocked, that's the basement. Aaron carries the key around with him for the whole show, waiting to unlock it. In Season 4, the show resolves the conflict between LD and Marley, and wraps up the story. There's some cool stuff in here, but there's nothing very mysterious about it. By this last season, this is no longer a mystery box story. If mystery was your main reason for watching, this is kind of a bummer. At least the answers we did get felt natural and earned. And, alongside the mystery box plot, Attack on Titan has excellent character-based drama. Summarizing the show the way I did, just explaining the mysteries and the twists, really does it a disservice. I completely skipped over all the human elements of the story. Like when Aaron finds out that Bertold and Reiner were spies. They'd been through so much together. This revelation is a gut-wrenching betrayal. Every major and minor character feels three-dimensional, enough to make you feel sad when they die. And a lot of them die. For every rip-roaring action beat that gets you excited to see some monsters get cut up, there's an abrupt, brutal death scene that reminds you just how horrifying this all is. That crucible of violence pushes characters to either grow stronger or crumble under the pressure. I'm a big fan of Jean in particular, who I somehow haven't mentioned yet. He's the Lancer of the group, always arguing with Eren. At the beginning, he's just going through training so he can get a cushy officer's job. But after seeing the Titans firsthand, he finds a higher calling in fighting them to protect humanity. He takes on more and more responsibility until he evolves from a pretend leader to an actual leader. And I can't not talk about Eren. He's driven by single-minded rage against the Titans. He's motivated, but his emotions also lead him to make a lot of stupid decisions. He's one of the few protagonists in the world that the audience might disagree with as often as they agree with him. You have to wonder, is he the best person to wield the power of a Titan? Now, my favorite things from the show. A lot of them I already mentioned, but here are some things I haven't touched on yet. The whole episode where Sasha saves the little girl. Speaking of Sasha, she's mostly the comic relief character. Her never-ending quest for food supplies the show with all its funniest moments.
And what is that you're clutching in your right hand?
A steamed potato! It sat there in the mess hall begging to be eaten! It looked quite delicious, and it was getting cold. So I gave it shelter in my stomach, sir.
Oh, and that moment where Titan Eren punches himself in the face. Attack on Titan has a pretty solid mystery box structure going on. But these mysteries aren't really anyone's main reason for watching. The thing driving the show is the action, and the high-stakes emotional moments as the characters fight for their lives. Overall, though, it does a good job of inserting mystery box elements into its story at a manageable, palatable level. Attack on Titan gets a final mystery box rating of 6 out of 10.